Okay, last section of Chapter 6, 6.4, Journalizing and Posting Adjusting Entries. You just have one objective here. You need to journalize and post the adjusting entries for supplies and prepaid insurance. Adjusting entries are the journal entries that are recorded to update general ledger accounts at the end of the fiscal period. We've actually already kind of done these adjusting entries. It's just now we need to put them into the journal so that the general ledger also shows that update. So this is where we're seeing our supplies. Remember, we already figured out what that adjustment was. We put it on our worksheet. Here it is on our worksheet. Now what we're doing is we're taking it from our worksheet and we're putting it into our journal. Now, something different here is that we're going to have this label called our adjusting entries. The reason that we're going to have that is because we're not going to have source documents for these adjusting entries. So we're going to label them as adjusting so we know what they are. Okay, and then it's just like a normal journal entry. We start with our date. We then put in our debit. We're getting that information from our worksheet. So we have a debit to supplies expense for $530, and then we have a credit to supplies for $530. Okay, we're going to do the same thing with our prepaid insurance. We're getting this information off our adjustments column on the worksheet again. We start with our date. We already have our heading there, so we don't need to put it in again. It's still another adjusting entry. Start with our date. We're going to debit insurance expense for $150, and we're going to credit prepaid insurance for $150. Here they're showing us then what our ledger accounts are going to look like after we're done them posting those adjusting entries. So when we look at supplies, notice how when we first did our worksheet, supplies said that we had a balance of $620. Now, after we've done that adjustment, our supplies now show what they should, that we have $90 worth of supplies. Same thing with our insurance. Our insurance was $900. We made that adjustment of $150. So now our prepaid insurance is correct with a $750 balance. And then we have our expense accounts that have those balances in there. All right, number one for audit your understanding. Why are adjusting entries journalized? To update our general ledger accounts at the end of the fiscal period. Number two, where is the information obtained to journalize adjusting entries? Where do we get that information from? We're going to get that from our balance sheet credit columns. We're going to get that from our adjusting columns. I don't know where they're getting this, but we're going to get that from our adjusting columns on our worksheet. Number three, which accounts are increased from zero balances after adjusting entries for supplies and prepaid insurance are journalized and posted? So what goes from a zero to having a balance? Our two expense accounts are going to go from having a zero balance to a balance. So supplies expense and insurance expense. Those accounts then are going to show what we used during that fiscal period, what the expense of doing business was during that fiscal period. You can now open up the 6.4 work together.